Hi, I'm Daniel Satchkov, president of RiXtrema, and today I'm going to share with something very exciting with you, something that I've personally worked on for a long time and our whole team. It's called 401k AI Agent. I think this will change the way retirement plans are sold, the way communication is made. I'm showing you a draft version. The actual tool will come out in early December, but I think it's super exciting. Some of you know that we have software such as Larkspur Executive, Larkspur Pro that contain a lot of the data about the plans, a lot of unique data, a lot of the data about executives, ability to send email campaigns. But there's the world is changing rapidly, very, very rapidly. I am convinced that including advisors, any small or medium business or even large business that doesn't adopt this technology properly will be out of business within 1 to 2 years at most. I think that everything will happen very rapidly. But also, there's other changes that are happening in the industry. For example, our Larkspur Pro product has been very successful for advisors. These are email campaigns, customized email campaigns without the AI, but they're customized by entering variables and email plan data for each specific plan. So when they get an email, it looks highly custom. So it's an advanced platform that worked well for people, and it does work well. However, over time, a pure email is not working as well. A pure email, there's a lot more filters. People get many more emails, and over time, the effectiveness is decreasing. And what we found is that people who are really successful, our clients who are successful, they also call. Calling is very important. Emailing without calling for this type of B2B sales does not work as well as it used to. In combination, emailing and calling still works extremely well. But also the emails themselves, we're living in a world where there's a lot of personal, interesting data about people that you can use to write emails. And so the emails that we have in Larkspur Pro are powerful, but they're all about the plan. Hey, you have this deficiency, you have this liability, and that works, right? But for some people and many executives, they will frown on that because it feels like you're telling them they're doing a really bad job. So you need to somehow mix that in with personal touch. And that's where so-called AI models come in. And what I want to show you is 401k AI agent. That's in a new tool that's going to be in the suite of Larkspur data. It's going to be available to our accelerator members, to some Pro Plus members at different levels. And it actually automates highly personal emails, and it also automates calling. Now, you cannot call with AI. That's not what I'm saying. You cannot have machines call people to sell to them. That's not really very legal. What we have is still humans calling, but we used all of the top technology to make the calling experience very smooth and extremely efficient. Right now, we have people who call, and those who used to be able to make 150 calls per day now can make 150 calls in 3 or 2 hours. And this is the huge innovation, the system that we're bringing to you called 401k AI agent, because the world is very difficult. Businesses are under stress. What we want to make sure is that in 2026, you grow your business. We're also holding our annual Win Big Plans 2026 event this year, where I'm going to teach you a lot about AI, how you can use AI in different ways. And without further ado, let me show you this system. So you see my screen now. That is this is our 401k AI agent. Okay. I have here an agent called marketing sales, but you can create any number of agents with different products, different tools. It's not going to be just for retirement plans. You can use it for many different things. Here I have different tabs. Home tab. This is the basic information, my biography, the services I offer, product information, and so on. We have the calling tab, which we'll talk about. This calling tab is essentially a way for you to call thousands or hundreds of people on autopilot, meaning that you don't dial any numbers. You have a live AI assistant giving suggestions to you on what to say. You can leave voicemail with just a click. So there you can use AI because you're a human being calling, but you can be very efficient about leaving voicemail. And you can also do some very quick follow-up right from this interface. This interface can be connected to any CRM. By default, it's connected to our CRM. And this way, your sales is going to become extremely efficient. So those clients that were not able to call did not have as much success. Now there's not going to be any excuse because literally the 8, 9 hours of calling will now be fit into 2 hours easily. Okay, and also another thing besides the calling on autopilot, there's also a lot of quick actions here and so on. We'll talk about that. Now, I'm going to start with the campaigns tab. We already have email campaigns for plans. I told you they're effective and that should continue to use them because they really focus on the problems. However, we will also be implementing a whole other kind of campaign that still uses problems, uses plan data. You have to focus on problems. But remember, pastor framework that pain, amplify, solution, transformation, and then offer and response. You have to focus on pain, but it does it in a very finesse way because it's using our newest AI model. And you'll see that very soon we have built a separate model that is not like ChatGPT. It's actually a retirement aware model that knows a ton about retirement plans, retirement plan sales. Here I'm going to show you, I have a list of plan sponsors. It's a very small list just for an example, right? These are different people from different companies, and we can go ahead and look at, here's some personal information and the emails that we write to them. Let's look at, let's say this particular person, Mark Lynch, and this is a real executive. When I started my 401k AI agent, the agent created personal emails, personal LinkedIn messages, personal calling pitches. I'm going to talk about emails now. Here's some information. We crawl all over the web. We check different websites, databases, LinkedIn pages, company websites. Here's the information we have about Mark, who's a very successful executive. There's lots of information. He's a decision maker on this plan. And here below are the emails, the personalized emails that are written to Mark by 401k AI agent. Notice that, it is personalized. It does talk about problems like you earn 15.4% above the benchmark. It commands the plan, but also talks about some potential problems, the red flags. Now, the second email is telling, you see that it starts with a personal touch. And in this case, we don't see the greeting or the signature that will be added later. It's just the body of the text that you can look over and approve. You have to approve it. It doesn't do anything on autopilot. You can approve one email or the whole campaign or the whole batch. It's really up to you. Now, notice that it says something like, Mark, your track record leading Appian through IPO and growth is remarkable. Now, the same rigor you applied in equity markets can deliver benefits in your 401k oversight. Notice that it goes from personal to 401k plan as opposed to campaigns that are purely focused on the plan. So we're adding another very powerful tool, and you can read through all of these, right? Emails. So this one is a little bit troubling. After complimenting Mark, after talking about the personal success, we're talking about a drop in active participants, right? And the emails are very direct and business-like. Reply yes if you'd like me to outline how I can sort of help you, right? Now, Mark gave some interviews talking about preparing the next generation of leadership at Appian. We know this information about interviews, and it's used in the email to build a bridge from the personal information into the plan information. So this is going to be a massively powerful tool that will allow you to not just send campaigns about problems. You can do that, but also vary and send out these personalized campaigns that are extremely powerful, and they work very well. We basically adopt whatever the top marketers use now, and they use this kinds of personalization that is now going to be available to every one of our clients. I should emphasize, without bragging, that nobody in the retirement space or financial advisory space comes close to this kind of level of the sales machinery. Now I'm going to go into calling tab. Calling is the same list, right? The same list that we have in the email campaigns. So let's say that if I go back, I approved email campaigns, they start going. Now I can start calling. Calling is connected to a CRM. It also uses personal information. If I press call, and this is going to call a real person, so I'm going to start and then I'm going to hang up because I don't want to sell to the plan sponsor just right now on the video. But I'm going to hit call and you'll see that the number is ringing. Notice that I have quick actions. Leave voicemail. So notice that as I'm calling Mark, and I'm like I said, I'm not going to really do the full call. I have quick actions here. For example, I pause right now. I can call him again. I can send him an email. There will be not an email campaign, but an ad hoc email. I can quickly register Mark for an appointment, and you can have your own tasks here. But the point is, as you're calling, as your assistant is calling, everything is one click away. You don't need to go into the CRM, type up notes. Everything will be transcribed. The notes will be added to the CRM. And very soon there will actually be live suggestions on what to say to Mark. That will be most powerful, right? I can create tasks and so on. I have a history tab where it'll show me history of my calls. Again, if I miss something, I can go back and say send an email or register them for an appointment. You will have your custom list of tasks. Also, LinkedIn tab, I'm not going to go into now. The same list of executives, our app will send them invitations from you on autopilot, which really saves a ton of time. If they accept the invite, you'll be able to send them customized LinkedIn messages, again, using the AI power, personalization, but also retirement LLM that we have built. So this is a real amazing machine that takes a list of plan sponsors, and now instead of before we would use email campaigns, and they're still powerful, but email campaigns without calling don't work as well. And we've created a calling machine that is extremely smooth. That I didn't show you this, but when you're calling, leaving a voicemail is just really one click, or the system may even leave it automatically. So you don't need to sit there and do anything repetitive. Basically, we've created this machine that does everything repetitive for you. You are left, or your caller left, as a human being talking to a human being. That's really what you should be doing. Even in the experience of our team, this has changed completely the way we work because we're not a large company. You can now do much more outreach and you can really increase your sales for 2026. So again, this is very exciting. It's not a final version, but I think it's enough to show that starting in December, our clients will be miles ahead in terms of technology. What we want to do is for you to have a big 2026. Join the Win Big Plans Challenge. It's a free event where I'm going to teach you a lot about nuts and bolts of AI, how it's used here, because it's used in many different ways. And ultimately, I think that people who will automate repetitive tasks and focus on human tasks themselves will very quickly absorb all of the business and win out. Take care. We'll see you on the Win Big Plans Challenge.